What's going on, YouTube? This is Jimifanis, aka Viper Magic, and I'm rocking my hot new Loot Crate shirt of the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, split down the middle, double face. How cool is that? What I wanted to talk about today was Destiny. Of course, how could I not talk about Destiny? It's the game that everybody has been playing. House of Wolves is now upon us, and although I have not yet got to play the new Trial of Osiris that goes live tomorrow morning, which would be Friday morning over here in the States. I can say that the rest of the expansion's pretty damn cool. There's a few things I wanted to talk about specifically that I like, a few things that I don't like, and I want to hear from you all. I was going to do some smaller videos highlighting each little element, but the reality is there's not too much to say about it because after all, it is just an expansion. I will give Bungie and Destiny a lot of credit. The development team has done an amazing job of making this DLC not suck. And I know that's kind of funny to say, and it may come off as a little, I don't know, snarkish. It's not meant, though, to be that at all. As a matter of fact, I think they actually did a really good job. One of the things that I like about the expansion is that they've improved the story mode and the storytelling. Now, I have long said that Bungie does not tell a story well, and I defy any of you to tell me that the Halo stories were any good. The reality is, most of the time, most of us had no idea what we were doing. Yes, there were some really cool cutscenes. Yes, there were some very memorable set pieces, like when the ship rips in half in Destiny 3, and the Arbiter saying, "Were it so easy," and Master Chief, "Wake me when you need me." Some of these really iconic moments. But outside of that, there was some real nonsense, and Halo 4's story was just all over the place. And, I don't know, they've never really been very good at that. So, that's why I think that, not surprised, rather, that Destiny's story isn't that hot. And I think their storytelling is still suspect, and I think it's still prevalent here. I've said time and time again, I felt as if Destiny needed to expand on its core character list. If you recall, the Traveler was very mysterious. The Queen was very mysterious, and her boyfriend slash brother bodyguard guy was also very mysterious. And having completed the entire single player experience, which is about 5 or 6 missions that take place in different areas of the map, some new, some old, I never saw any of those characters. As a matter of fact, it focuses on a couple new NPCs that help out. And I will say to their credit, they're even more fleshed out than the old characters because they actually talk to you during the story. So you feel as if you get to know them a little better. It kind of feels like they're on the mission with you. Unfortunately, that means that your ghost is completely non-existent. And I'm not really happy about this because I recall when I bought the Ghost Edition that my ghost would be my virtual companion throughout the world. And everywhere I went, my ghost would go with me. And there's a video of all the characters, or not characters, the Bungie employees holding up the little ghost figurine saying, "Look at me, look at my ghost, he talks, he lights up." My ghost does nothing in this game. As a matter of fact, they talk on his behalf. "Hey, your ghost is picking something up." Well, why can't he tell me that? And I have to say that I think Bungie dropped the ball here on this. And it's very odd to me that the ghost is just completely non-existent. I think that's a big downfall for this game. And you say, well, geez, there's more narration, but you lose the ghost. Well, yeah, but this kind of goes against what the philosophy of the original game was. I thought the ghost was going to be part of this. Now, am I upset that Peter Dinklage isn't in it? Not really. I thought he sucked at delivering his lines or his material was dry. I'm not sure which one. But because I've made my statement that I think Bungie tells poor stories, I feel as if he didn't have much to work with. So that may be part of it, and I understand he's a big Hollywood movie star and all this sort of thing, and his rates are probably through the roof as a celebrity voice actor, but for a 10-year plan to have your kind of one of your main characters just up and vanish is kind of lame. So I got to take points away from that on Bungie. I don't think that's a good move. Now, again, they do develop some of the other characters, and you do get the sense that you're kind of on this front edge and kind of avenging the Queen and fighting back these hordes of guys. And the new locations are great. It is the same old formula of going to the same old places. You're just walking from the level backwards or from the middle to the front or from the middle to the end. There are a few new little areas. It's kind of neat to go back to the roots of where you first started the game and go outside the walls of the Cosmodrome. and battle along all these old husks of cars in this kind of little grass field. That's kind of neat. The heavy pike is a great feature in the game. I like the fact that it has some new weaponry, and I like how the enemies seem to have, even the enemies you fight seem to have more personality because there's more variants of them. There's a lot of different shanks. There's exploding shanks and sniper shanks, and I think that's a great move. So I think in that sense, Bungie definitely had a success here. Of course, we can't talk about Bungie without talking about the loot, and I have to say the loot is significantly better. Now, I warn them, and I warn everyone, that if you get too loot crazy and everybody has every gun, there's nothing left to work towards. And I know a lot of people gave Diablo flack for loot, but when loot drops from the sky, it loses its meaning. And when it loses its meaning, the game's no fun to play. So if we're worried about the game about character advancement, and we're worried about getting better guns, and that's all we're playing for, you have to slow that down. If there's a real story here and we're driving towards a story, that's a different situation. However, I don't really think there's much of a story to drive here. I don't really feel any resolution with any character I've ever met. It's a lot of loose ends that just do not seem to link together, and so for that reason, I feel it has to be about the loot. It has to be about hitting light level 34, getting the absolute best guns in the game. And for that reason, I'm a little nervous because they were raining loot on me when I first played. Now, is this just a draw to get me in, and as the weeks go on, it's going to start falling away? Perhaps. I went through the Prison of Elders, and I got my first... when I opened the chest that I got from the quest, I got the PlayStation exclusive pistol, or hand cannon, the Hawk Moon, which I've wanted for a long time. But then I also got a couple legendary shotguns. I got some legendary chest armor and legendary gauntlets. And in a very short amount of time, I was taking on the new content on the hardest difficulty. Now, I understand the end game with the Prison of Elders and with the Trials of Osiris is going to up the ante, and I understand that. And I'm not saying by any means I'm ready to crash into the end game content, but I think they need to pace themselves on how much stuff is coming out. I completely updated my arsenal in a very short amount of time. And I worry that the game is it's trying to compensate for the previous loot system, which was suspect, and the RNG kind of sucked. And now you know at least you're guaranteed something decent upon the completion of Prison of Elders. However, I just don't want every week to be a legendary or an exotic, because I think after a while it's just going to lose its fun. So there's a fine balance between there that they have to figure out in terms of how much loot do they want to give versus how much do you want to grind, and there's got to be a happy medium. Speaking of grind, one of the things I really like about this game is it seems to reward the players who did grind, specifically with the new gear. So a lot of the old gear has 3 perks on it, like my chest armor, I think it's called Object 959. It has 3 different perks on it. The new gear only has 2. And I can ascend my old gear and to make it the same light level as the new gear, or I could kind of take the shortcut and just get the new gear and I'm already ready to go. And I like that. I feel like I'm rewarded for all that grinding I did because, yes, at the end of the day, you'll be light level 34 and I'll be light level 34, but for the new players, you're not going to have that extra perk on each piece of gear like I do, so I feel if it's rewarding. And if you want to go back and get the old stuff, Vault of Glass is still there, Crota is still there, and you can go do it, level it up just the same as I had to do, and work your way up. So I like that it's an entry point for new players, but it's also kind of paying homage or tribute or respect or whatever to the old players by saying, hey, we get it, you guys went through the freaking trenches for this stuff. We're going to go ahead and give you just a little bit of an advantage, and I appreciate that. And the perks aren't all that great, but it's nice to have an additional one. I think where this game is going to have the most legs, though, is in the reforging, and all the new weapons now are going to be able to be reforged, and I think that is amazing. I spent a lot of time last night trying to reforge my shotgun before I realized that Hammer Forged was no longer a perk you could get, and I tried and tried and tried, and I couldn't get it. Now, luckily, after about 30 motes of light, I realized that. You'd think I would have looked a little bit sooner, but oh well. But I like that now I can roll for what I consider the perfect weapon, and that's up for me to decide what that is. Now, I wish that it had a little more customization in terms of how Diablo does it, where you can lock in one... You can lock in everything except for one stat and re-roll that stat over and over, as opposed to a complete random draw. It's going to be very difficult to get the exact setup that you want. However, I think that's part of the fun, and those are the mats you're going to have to go grind now. And those are things that are going to make it rewarding to go out there. And again, you don't want to just hand people stuff and say, hey, Jim, what's your perfect shotgun? Oh, you like Shot Package. Oh, you like Hammer Forge. Here you go. Here it is. Take it and go off and kill things and everything. No, I like that there is some randomness to the game, but I feel like I'm more in control of my character, and I feel like I'm more in control of what kind of weaponry he's going to use to advance through the game. I can give you a hint right now, it's going to be Hawkmoon, but for the secondary, I'm interested in that. And it's also nice that they added a new whole class of secondary, the sidearm, which is kind of like an auto-firing pistol, and I hope that they continue to add new weaponry because it'll make it more interesting. So all in all, I have to say this expansion so far is a big win for me. This was the second of my 2 free expansions as part of my Ghost Edition. So they're going to have, I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat as me, and I think they're going to have to try even harder now to make sure that on the next go-around, everyone is completely invested in this project. And I think this is a great first step, but I still feel that the story element is very, very weak. And I hope they focus more on that, although I will say that the endgame content that I've seen, which is only a few of the Prison of Elder matches that I've done, I have not seen Trial of Osiris yet, but the few little elements that I've seen, I think, really propel the game in the right direction. So all in all, I have to say this is a complete win, and I'm very happy with the direction this game is going. One quick note, and then I'll go. It's always neat to see a game evolve before your eyes. If you're like me, an old World of Warcraft veteran, you remember how different the game was 5 years ago when the Lich King came out, and how much it changed during Kata, and how much it changed during Panda, and skill trees went completely away, and currency changed, and this sort of thing. And it's neat to see a game continuously go through. So if Destiny continues on this path and they get better and they improve themselves, you'll have a fan for me in life. I mean, I'm still a Warcraft guy, I'm still a Diablo guy. It's nice to see that the game's evolving, and it's nice to see that they're pushing the envelope and listening to the fans, at least on some things. I don't know where my trading is, but it's nice to listen to the fans and see the game evolve into something greater than when it started. It's always nice, you know, you have the best idea in the world, and you put it out there, and it just drops and fails horribly. You pick yourself up, you clean it off, and you make something better. And I know a lot of people right now are buzzing about the new expansion, House of Wolves. And I hope it stays. It's really cool to see all these people out in the world events trying to grind keys, and it's neat to see the tower populated again and the reef populated again, and this base that's energized. I hope this energy continues, and maybe we'll see a cool E3 announcement from Sony or Destiny letting us know what the next phase of the game is, and hopefully it focuses on story. But anyways, I've rambled for almost 12 minutes now, so I'm going to shut up, but I want to hear what you guys think. So please comment below and let me know what you guys think about the House of Wolves. Is it something to you that is amazing? Do you not care? Is it somewhere in between? I love your feedback, and as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do me a favor, comment, rate, subscribe, let me know what you guys think, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.